my wife and I had spent a lot of time considering where we were living. We originally were living in Bolton, but we wanted to move. I had a friend of mine, and I know a lot of friends that had gone to school, and I had a lot of friends who had contact with Stuart over the years. And we've had friends that have had houses moved by him and sold, and it was actually a really good experience because I automatically had a verbal referral, and that was a very important factor for me because I can't trust what a person puts in a newspaper because that's their best side. The most interesting thing was as I phoned Stuart on the phone and said, look, geographically speaking, I'm looking for a house within this area and for this amount of money. And Stuart said, that's really not much to work with. And I said, yes, but you're hired and that's your job. So Stuart had spent a lot of time. He'd phone me periodically within the next months, weeks, saying, I have this, do you want to go look at it? You want this, do you want to go look at it? And we had sat down, we've gone to look some houses, and we'd open up the front door and he'd look at me and he'd say, it's all about the kitchen, let's go. And did you do any research on this house? And I'd say no, and he goes, okay, well, it's got this, 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 and this, and this, and this, and I know the guy who's, you know what, let's go. And we were very, very particular because we said the specific factors of what we wanted in a house, those were the details that we were not going to budge on. And never mind money or size or whatever, but it had to be a family home. And he figured that out for us. So that whole conversation that we had it wasn't that it was personal service. It wasn't that it was somebody who took control of the situation, who balanced all of your questions before you asked them, but it was a fact that they were understanding where you were coming from, but more so of what it was important to you. And I think that was one of the few factors that you get from people, because there's always a buyer beware. There always is emptor caveat, where you see somebody and you're having a conversation with them, you don't know if they're selling you something. So as a buyer or as an agent, you have two relationships, and I never found that with him. I always found him to be the same person in both events. So brutally honest, sincere, serious about what he was doing, but always willing to crack a joke if you pass him on the road. He'd wave to you, but he's never forgotten us, and those are important factors. If you're looking for a realtor, look at what you need for yourself first and see if the person embodies that. The person who is buying the house or selling the house has to have the same value system as you do, and they have to be realistic, and they have to be somewhat of the same things important: age group, family, and have that same understanding. If they don't, then all they're doing is they're trying to get you to buy a product that you have no emotional involvement with. Your house is your home. It's all about the emotion. If you don't have a fireplace, you got no heat.